Excel has two basic types of formatting, or that's the way I look at it. You have formatting numbers, and then you have formatting for colors, look, feel, and fonts. Well, formatting numbers is a little more straightforward, and there's less to do, so we're going to do that in this movie. Now, when you look at this worksheet, you see we have first quarter of the year, and some calculations here in column E and F, and we have the cities we're going to, and then we have some other calculations down here on the bottom, and we also have some dates. Well, let's make these look like numbers, because right now we can't tell, are these dollars, are they euros, are they bananas, what are they? You see we do have some formatting here in column F as percentages. So let's select the numbers across this first row. And we also simultaneously want to select the numbers across the total row, so hold down the Control key on your keyboard and just select across. So that's how you can select non-contiguous cells in a worksheet. Now that you have them selected, you want to make sure you're on the Home tab. And over here in the Numbers section, just click the $sign, and this applies the dollar format. Well, dollar format is great, but it gives us decimals, and there are no pennies in here, so we want to remove them. Let's go over here, and you see you have these two little symbols here. Click this one. This one will decrease the number of decimals. So right now, we have dollar signs, we have comma for thousand separators, and we don't have decimals. So it's kind of a custom format. So now that we have dollars assigned to the first row and the total row, what we want to do is the remaining numbers, we want to give them commas for thousand separators, but we don't want to give them dollar signs and we don't want to give them decimals. So let's select these numbers here, hold down the Control key, and drag to select those numbers over there. And also in this number area, see you have a comma, and click that. That gives you the comma style, and you can see it gives you thousand separators, and it gives you decimals. So let's go over here and let's decrease the decimal, and you could deselect. So now you have something that's pretty typical that a worksheet will have. Now, if you did not have this row formatted as percentages, you can simply select that and click the percentage formatting. And if you decide maybe you want some more decimals, you could click this to increase the number of decimals. Maybe if that's too many, you can again click this to decrease it. Down over here we have some dates, and dates are actually numbers, and Excel assigns a serial number to every date, and it does that so that you can actually perform calculations on them. Well, before we format these, we want to sort of treat them like text. We want them left aligned. So select these three dates, and then up here in the alignment section, click on the left align button. So this first date, that's simply the date that this worksheet was created. Well, we don't want that to change because it was created on March 31st. That never changes. But today's date might change, and the date printed might change. These two are functions, and you click this one here, and you can see that's the today function. That simply reads the current date. And over here, which says printed on, click that. That's the now function. That gives you can see the date and the time. So let's say we want to apply maybe a more friendly format. So let's click here on Created On. And in the number group here, click on this little launcher button here, and that will bring up the Format Cells dialog box. And by the way, Control 1 is the shortcut for that. So in the number section, we want to make sure it's a date. And you see you have all these sample dates. Let's scroll down here. And let's choose this one. And when you choose it, you see it shows you a sample of what that will actually look like. Click OK. And there you go. It says March 31st, 2010. And maybe let's apply the format to this. Maybe I'll click the Format Painter and then click this. Well, that's great. But this one, we need a little bit more space because we want to give it the month and the day and the year, but we also need the time. Well, we're going to need a little bit more space to display all that. So let's select these three cells. And over here in the alignment section, click Merge and Center. That merges those three cells into one big cell, but it also centers them. So let's click this button here to left align them again. So let's go format that. This time maybe I'll press Control 1. Now in the number section, this shows us that it's a custom format. And over here it shows us the type. And let's just select everything in there, just delete. And now you can see Excel assigns a long serial number to that particular date. My advice is for now just ignore it. We want to put in the month, so type M. Now when you type the first M, it shows you 4 because April is the fourth month. When you type second M, it gives you a leading 0. Type a third M, and it abbreviates the month. Type a fourth M, and it spells it out. Well, type a space. We want the day. If you type a single day, now this is a 2-digit. If this were, let's say, the 5th, a D would give you 5. If you type a second D, it would tell you 05. So we have the month, we have the day, type a comma. My advice is always use a 4-digit year. I'll type in 4Ys and space. Now, I want this to say something like April 27th, 2010 at whatever time it is, 5 o'clock or so on. So I'm going to type in literally the word at. That's not a code. That's literally going to be displayed as at. Type a space. Now we want to type in the time of day. So I'll type in 2 H's for hours, colon, 2 M's for minutes, colon, 2 S's for seconds. Click OK. And now it tells us April 27th, 2010 at 16:09:04. Well, that's great, but maybe you want 12-hour time instead of 24-hour time. Let's go back in there, and this time I'll click on this little number launcher here. So we're back in the custom category, and you can see there it is. I put a little slash there for the at. Don't worry about that. Click at the end, type a space, and then type in AM/PM. And you notice this converts it to 12-hour time. Click OK. And now we can see that is April 27th, 2010 at 4:09:04 p.m. Now, this will update whenever the worksheet recalculates. Now, the worksheet will recalculate when you type something in a cell and enter it. If a number changes, you can also force the recalculation. And let's go over here to this number for Boston. Let's just say right now it's 2589. I'm just going to type in 2589 again. Now, before I press enter, see this shows 4:09:04. When I press enter, this updates the minutes and the seconds. So if you want to force the worksheet to recalculate without actually doing anything, you can simply press the F9 key, and that will force the worksheet to recalculate like that. So this is some basic number formatting. And remember, at any time, you could go into this launcher and go into the Format Cells dialog box, and you have all these different categories that you can use for numbers. I'm going to cancel that out. So my advice is go into that dialog box and see what's available. I think you'll find some helpful formatting there.